Hey there, how you doing today? Have you got the COVID blues? Let me help you out with another fun-filled and exciting lesson about how the parables of Jesus are just like cookies. Cookies are short, sweet, and they're filled with tasty stuff, and so are the stories that Jesus told us to teach us about the things of God. Let me ask you something. something. What's your favorite animal to eat? Now, before you go all vegan on me, I'm not talking about steak or chicken or even bacon. I'm talking about animal crackers. Do you love the hippo, the camel, the little monkey in his little suit? Animal crackers aren't just one specific type of cookie, but a whole range of cookies shaped like animals. Can you believe it? Some are iced, some are plain. Some boxes have more animals than others. Some only have one. Like at my grocery store, all I could find were these tasty little chocolate chip Teddy Grahams. And I'm not complaining because anything with chocolate chips is good as far as I'm concerned. So I've been snacking on these, doing some research for today's lesson. Chocolate chip Teddy Grahams. But I remember the ones I had as a kid. Mostly they were zoo animals, camels and tigers and hippos. But I guess there's some that are, let me swallow this, farm animals. I don't recall ever seeing farm animals, cows, sheep, and of course pigs. Ever eaten a pig animal cracker? Did it taste like a cookie or did it taste like bacon? Our Mythbusters are right on that.
How's it looking, Dale?
Awesome. I can see perfectly from here.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I got the zoom all set up. I can see the bait right there.
Perfect. For when the Cookie Monster inevitably shows up, we'll be ready to get him on camera this time.
I mean, I would have had him last week if you hadn't ran out there and stole his Oreos. All I got was you screaming.
Listen, Dale, it was a dangerous situation.
I can still hear the sound he made. Nom 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 nom.
No, it was more like, oh, no.
Ugh. I still get shivers thinking about it.
I don't even want to think about it.
What are those, animal crackers?
Yeah.
I can see now. I like animal crackers, like the hippos and lions, giraffes and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I couldn't find the circus edition, so they're just farm animals.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. There's horses and chickens and pigs. That's interesting.
Why? Why is that interesting?
Because pigs always make me think of something good.
Like bacon.
Yeah, I mean, bacon's great, but I was thinking more of the Prodigal Son.
The Prodigal Son?
Yeah, you know that guy that he wanted his inheritance, and so his dad gave him his money, and then he went off and he spent it all, and then he was eating with pigs. And he's like, what am I doing? I should go back home.
Did his dad forgive him?
Yeah, you bet he did. That's the beauty of that story. It reminds us of God and how he always gives us a second chance.
You know, I wish I had a second chance to take a few of those cookies.
Chloe, no.
I mean,
Chloe.
look, they're pig-shaped, Dale. What if they taste like bacon? I gotta know.
Chloe, no.
What? No, not again. No.
My mom just called and told me it's not polite to talk with your mouth full, so I better not do that anymore. What do you think? Did Chloe find bacon-flavored cookies before the Cookie Monster chased her away? I think it's okay if pig-flavored cookies don't taste like bacon, personally. I like bacon, but I don't need my cookies to taste that way. There's probably someone out there that's done it, I'm sure. Someone who's made a cookie that looks like a pig and tastes like bacon. I don't want to try it. I don't want to try sharing a meal with a pig either. Whoa, what? Sharing a meal? Weren't we just talking about cookies? Where did that come? Hey, that was a great segue I just did there. Most of you have probably never tasted a bacon-flavored animal cracker, and I think it's fair to say that most of you have never shared a meal with a pig. You wouldn't want to share a meal with a pig, of course, because pigs don't eat in the most appetizing places, they don't eat the most appetizing food, and they don't live in a nice place. In fact, it stinks. You can tell when you're passing a pig farm when you're driving down the highway just by how it smells. No one wants to eat with the pigs. What are you talking about, man? Is there a parable where Jesus says don't eat with the pigs? Well, kind of. You probably heard about the parable of the prodigal son. And last time I said that parables are like cookies when I talked about cookies and parables because they're small stories that are filled with sweetness. And today's story is maybe one of the sweetest of them all, but it has a really messy middle in there because the guy in this story got so bad off that he actually thought that what the pigs were eating looked pretty good. And you probably heard, as I said, the prodigal son. We find that in the Bible in Luke 15. And the guy in this story did what I think is a very selfish thing. He asked his father for his inheritance. All the money he was supposed to get when his dad kicked his bucket. He said, Dad, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait till you kick the bucket. I want the money now. Give me what's mine. I'm tired of living in your house. Tired of following your rules. Just give it to me and I'm getting out of here. And his dad, I think, was a very kind man and patient. So he did what his son asked. He said, okay, son, here's your money. I wish you all the best. And so he left home and he went to the city and he started living it up, as they say. He ate in all the fancy restaurants. He partied hard. He bought himself nice cars. He had a really cool pad. All the women loved him. He had lots of friends as long as he was buying. But the story has a predictable plot line. His money ran out. Spent everything his father gave him. And then he found out that he didn't have any friends if he didn't have any money. He had no friends, no money, no place to stay. He couldn't even find work. Because the Bible says the time that he ran out of money, a famine swept over the land. No one was hiring. No one had any extra to hand out or spare. He finally begged his way onto a pig farm. And one day he finds himself out there feeding pigs. And he's looking at what they're eating. And he's so hungry that he's thinking, man, that looks pretty good. They're eating better than I am. I think maybe I'd like some. And then he had an epiphany. You know what? Maybe Dad's not such a bad guy after all. And he reflected on his life and he realized something. I acted like a spoiled brat. I took my dad's kindness for granted. I know that he treats his servants better than I'm being treated on this pig farm. Maybe if I go home and I humble myself and I apologize, maybe Dad will let me work on the farm. At least I'll have 3 squares a day and I'll have a place to sleep at night. So he quit the pig farm and he made the journey home. And this is where the really beautiful part comes in. Because the Bible says while he was still a long ways off, his father saw him down the road there. And what did he do? Did his father just stand there with his arms crossed, waiting for him to come and grovel at his feet? Did he turn his back with his arms crossed and say, forget it, I ain't talking to you, you're nobody? Did he walk back into the house saying, no? Did he say, okay, you can work on the farm here with me, but you're no son of mine. You can stay with the servants, but that's all you're good for. That's not what it says. It says he ran. When he saw his son a long ways off, he ran to him. He embraced him. He put a robe on his back. He put a ring on his finger. He gave him sandals for his feet. And he rejoiced and he said, we're having a party today, folks. Get that sweet piece of meat that we've been saving. You cook that up. We're going to have a party. Invite all the neighbors. Bring out the wine. We're having a party today because my son, I thought he was dead, but here he is alive. He was lost, but now he's found again. We got to celebrate. He rejoiced at seeing his son. See, and the son was all prepared to beg for a bed and for some work and some food. He was prepared to fall down on the ground and say, you know what, Dad, I'm no longer worthy to be your son. I realize I was a spoiled brat. I spent my inheritance. I wasted everything you saved up for me. But please, could you let me live here, even as your servant? Just give me a room in the servants' quarters and let me get a few meals. Please, Dad, I'm begging you. Can I stay here? And his dad said, forget that noise. You're moving back into your old room, son. You're sitting at the table at your usual spot. I'm going to buy you a new set of clothes. And look at you. You're all skin and bones. Man, I'm going to feed you up. And we're going to celebrate. I'm so glad you're home, son. And Jesus told this story to show us what God is like. So you and I, we're that prodigal child. We don't want to live in God's house following his rules. We want to go out there and want to do things our own way. The whole world is like that. But some of us, we come to our senses and we realize that living in God's house, even as a servant, is better than the pig pen we're wallowing in and eating the slop that we're doing right now. And so we come back to God. And we hope maybe he might not be too mad at us. See, some of you right now, you used to follow God, but you wandered away. And you're thinking, I can't come back because God's mad at me. But I want to tell you something. God's not mad at you. We've got it all wrong. God's never been mad at you. God isn't angry at you. If you've turned your back on God, I want to tell you something. He's not angry at you. He's angry at the things that ruin your life. He's just angry at the things that ruin your life. He's angry at the things that destroy everything that he made to be good. He's not mad at you. And if you decide to come back to him, if you've been thinking about it, because of the way things are in the world today, and you're just wondering, maybe I do need God after all. I wonder if he'd take me back. I want to tell you something. The moment you decide to take a step in his direction, he's going to do what the father in this story did. He's going to come running to you. See, the culture that Jesus told this story in would consider a dad running to be a sign of weakness or a lack of dignity. A powerful man should never run. But it shows that the father didn't care about dignity when he saw his son coming. And this is God. See, God never runs, if you think about it. God's not in a hurry. God's plans don't unravel. He's never caught off guard. He's never behind. He's never put in a bad spot. God isn't afraid of anything. But God doesn't run. There's no need to. He has no reason to rush. But if you decide to come home, God will run to you. He will run to you. And he'll put a robe on your back. And this is the robe of righteousness that I hope to talk about in the days ahead. He'll give you a new identity. He'll put a ring on your finger. It's a signet ring saying that you're his child. He says, you're not staying out there at the servants. You're staying in my house. You're my child. I forgive you. Come on home. That's what God's saying today. This is the message that God is saying through me to whoever happens to listen to this. God is saying to you, come on home. Come on home. Come home. There's a chair at the table for you. Your room's all prepared. I've made up your bed. Come on home. Come on home. This isn't what you might call a typical Thanksgiving message today, but this is what I'm thankful for right here. That God is so loving and kind and merciful, that God is so patient and forgiving. See, the Bible says that love is patient, love is kind, and it doesn't keep a record of wrongs. And then it says, God is love. I'm thankful today that I'm loved. I'm thankful to serve a God who's merciful and kind. I'm thankful to serve a God who doesn't keep a record of the things I've done wrong. He doesn't dredge up my past. He doesn't say, oh, yeah, what about that time? He doesn't make me feel guilty. He doesn't hang it over my head. He doesn't manipulate me by making me feel like, oh, what a loser I am. God is so merciful and kind, and he doesn't keep a record of wrongs. See, if you come back to God, he doesn't say, well, all right, but you're going to have to pay off. You're going to have to earn my trust again, that kind of stuff. He just welcomes you back home because of Jesus. And I want to talk about that in the days ahead, about the robe of righteousness, all the stuff Jesus has done for us. But you can come back home. I can come back home whenever I wander, rebel, I'm stubborn, if I'm just plain stupid. I'm thankful that God doesn't scowl at me, make me feel guilty. I'm thankful God doesn't count the times that I wandered away. He doesn't say, well, that's about the 15th time you've done that now. That's about the 49th time you've done that now. That's about the 78th time you've done that now. He doesn't keep track. He doesn't keep a record of wrongs. And he doesn't hold it against you. Anytime you say, God, I'm sorry, can I come home? God runs to you. And I'm thankful for this today. He doesn't say that was your last chance. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. Because as long as you have a breath in your body, you still have a chance. The Father's arms are open wide. The table's all set, and there's a place for you. And he's eagerly waiting. He's eagerly waiting for you. He's ready to run. See, God right now, he's like a sprinter on the starting blocks, and he's just waiting for you to say, God, could I come back home? And he is going to sprint to you and embrace you and say, of course you can. Come on home. Why don't you come on home? And if you're already seated at the table and you're already home, well, isn't that a great reason to give thanks today? God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving.